All right, perfect. No. Mm. All right, all right, all right. I think no one's here. Mm-hmm. Oh, hello. Hello. Very nice. I think the first persons are coming right now. Very nice to hear. I think. Actually, I have zero idea how I am able to see all of you guys. Not see, but like, uh, how I'm able to see how many people are in this live call right now. Because normally I have full control over that, but if not, then. Alright, I don't know. Maybe for all of the people who are here right now, maybe type something in chat so I know, so that I have a broad overview on how many people we are, or if we should wait a little more. Usually we are waiting like 5 or 6 minutes. So I would just wait 2 more minutes and then I would start in the live call. Chris, very nice that you're here. Just for you, real quick, we're going to learn today how to do this like yeah, pretty basic but very clean Iman Ghazi type animation. So yeah. And if you have any questions, if I should rate anything that you've edited or should give you feedback, I have also After Effects knowledge. So if you're more interested in that, if we're just two people right now, you can ask me that as well. So yeah, just give me a quick feedback and then we can start in a couple of minutes. All the people start to Chris, it would be better to just type in English because this call is recorded, so then it will get posted in the community and it's an English community, so I'm not going to talk English or answer in English since yeah, this call is then for everyone accessible. Right. Easy, easy. But if you have any questions, if I can help you with anything, just give me a quick feedback because yeah, I posted my story very, very late today. Yeah. But if you have anything, or are you just here to do you use DaVinci for all of your videos? Huh, that's a very good question. No, actually not. Because since a couple of months, I think two, I'm now on After Effects, but all of my a little bit older videos are 100% made in DaVinci Resolve, so I'm able to work with with both programs. Um, yeah, I think on a very decent level. So if you have any questions or something like this, just let me know, and I will do my best to answer you all of your questions. To make all your latest video with After Effects. Um, yes, I did like a Zootalks video. I did that with DaVinci Resolve. This was for the last live call. But my newer videos that I posted on my Instagram are made with After Effects. But you are able to do this with DaVinci as well. Hello.
What's up, Nick?
What's up,
How's it
man?
going?
It's alright. I think I like normally a lot of people are coming from Instagram story. Uh,
Hmm.
since this is like my own community, DaVinci community, and I think they're a little bit more interested.
Hmm.
Since DaVinci Resolve and motion graphics is not so big. Um, so I posted a little bit late today, like 50 minutes ago, because I had to prepare this, like the call as well, and what I'm going to do. So just Chris is here chilling with us right now.
All right, Chris, this one's for you. Well, what I'd like to do, because I think this is a really cool topic to talk about, is if
Yes.
you could show what we have prepared, because I think no matter how many people are joining in now, this is huge value, and we can even repurpose this for people that couldn't join in today.
Yeah, sure. I just it's not like a very complex animation, but it's just to give a broad overview on its on how like the look, the style, the feel of the Imangazi
Nice.
edits. So it's just going back like this, and then with the lines, very
Yes, sir.
typically for Imangazi. Because originally my idea was to just show a little bit, and then maybe people are going to ask, oh, how can you recreate this animation, or I saw this animation, how you're able to do that. But if
Hmm.
you're just a couple of people right now, I can just go over this animation, make a walkthrough, and then Chris, if
Yeah,
you have any
let's
answers, yeah.
let's try to frame this as a tutorial because we're talking since
Yes,
this one is not very live. Let's try to make it a more of a
tutorial,
tutorial format. So
easy.
Chris, you're watching. Let's make it a tutorial. Maybe you could give like a quick intro and be like, okay,
Alright,
today I'm going to show you how to do this
easy, no
animation.
problem. Alright, guys.
Nice.
Okay. Alright, guys, today I'm going to show you how to recreate this animation right here inside of DaVinci Resolve. This is a very typically animation for the very big yeah, content creator Iman Ghazi. And I think a lot of people are interested on learning his editing style, so I just thought for this live call or tutorial today, I'm just going to give a quick overview on the basics on how he is making his animations or his team. Um, so yeah, I would say let's jump right into Fusion. If you don't have your Fusion composition set up, this is the first thing we are always going to do. So just click or go into your timeline, click on Effects panel on the top left, go down to Effects, and then I have highlighted it right now, but you can just type in Fusion composition and drag it into your timeline. So for you, it would be black right now. Since I already created this animation, I'm just using my timeline. So we're just going to click on this little icon right here, which is the Fusion page, and then you can see a lot of nodes. And I'm just going to make a walkthrough and a very detailed walkthrough on what I did here. I think this is a little bit more advanced, so you should like it's not really advanced, but you should know the basics of how nodes work, and then I think you are very good with following this up because this is not very complex. Yeah, this is the thing with the notes. Most of the time, it looks like there's a lot of stuff going on, but actually, if you just look closely, you realize, okay, everything isn't that bad. It's just looking like a lot of stuff, or like just a lot of mess. Alright, so the first thing we're always going to do in Fusion, since this is a little bit annoying, in After Effects you can just click a button, then everything gets 3D. We can't do this in DaVinci Resolve. So in order to get into 3D space, we have to set up our 3D nodes. And the 3D base node tree, I'd say, is just we need a renderer 3D to get our 2D nodes into our 3D composition. Then we need a merge 3D to get all of our other 3D nodes merged together into the render 3D. And then we need a camera 3D, which is basically just our camera that we can move around in 3D space. I can show you guys really quick. By the way, if you want to use the split view, what I would really recommend if you are working in 3D, you can just click on this little icon. This is on the other hand very cool with DaVinci Resolve, since I don't really like the 3D space in After Effects. I think it's just a lot of, yeah, it's just very messy, and I think you have more control in DaVinci Resolve. So we have here our camera, which is connected to our Merge 3D, into our renderer 3D, which is rendering all of our nodes. And then we have all of our image 3D planes. And those image 3D planes are basically just converting our 2D information into 3D information so that we are able to see it in 3D. Alright, so when we have set up our little base node tree out of 3D nodes, which is render 3D, merge 3D, camera 3D, and image plane, we are going to create our background. And by the way, if you're wondering what those transform 3D nodes are, yeah, don't worry about this right now. Those are basically just the camera movements, but I'm going to talk about this in a second. Alright, so just to give you a quick setup on how I like to work is just I go to the media out, then I click on 2 so that my media out, what you will see in the end in the render, is going to be on the right side, and on the left I like to be in the 3D space so I actually can move around and see what's going on, so later that I know, alright, how everything is set up, and I can, or that I have control on when something is going to get wrong. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is actually creating just our background with a grid on top of it. So when we create our background, usually the type is set to solid color. So in order to change it, you just got to click on your background, go on the top right corner, click on inspector, click on type, and then deselect solid color and select gradient. And then, another thing that is going to happen, because right now we have our renderer 3D or our viewport on the right side in the media out. But if we, for example, want to drag out these lines from our gradient, they are not accurate on top of our background. And in order to work on those several layers, we can just hit now 1. So that now we have just our background on the left side, and now we know exactly where those points are, and we can actually move them around to create the perfect color way that we want. Alright, so in this case I would just go on gradient, and then I would select on this box, you can select the color. First one is black, the second one is like this very darkish red. Then you're going to adjust this, you can drag those handles around to create your gradient. And the next thing we're then going to do is creating actually our grid. Alright, so in order to create our grid, we can just hit on or click on background, then we can click shift and spacebar, and then we can type in grid, not grid warp. You have to double click on grid and then hit add, then it will get added to your timeline. Just keep that in mind. And then you gotta click on the grid, go on top to row cells, column cells, and then you can adjust how small or how big they should be. I would recommend you as well to change the line width, because if they are too big or too small, they are looking very bad. Most of the times they are looking bad if they are too big, so make sure to make them like smooth and small. And what I like to do as well is to really go down with the blend mode, because if you drag this up, you can see this looks very unprofessional, and you just want to have this little touch of your grid in the background. Alright, so what we have right now is our background node connected to our grid, connected in our image plane, which gets then rendered in our media out, and which we're able to see through our camera. Alright, so we're just going to keep going now with the little background. By the way, Chris, if you have any questions, just type it in the chat. What we are going to do right now is that we create this little rectangle box. So we create a second image plane 3D and connect it to our merge node. Yeah, since if we are not doing this, we are not able to see our 2D information in 3D space. And then next thing we are going to do, because we are working with nodes, so you always gotta think that we work from the left, from the first node to the last node. This, you can imagine this like a little node tree. And in order to get like this little, or to make those little side node trees, we have to have like one main node tree. And to do this, because normally you have your media in this case we are recreating this media in with this background, and we're just creating the alpha to 0 so that it's like see-through, and then we can add everything on top of it. So the first thing we're going to add on it is this little rectangle, this very dark red rectangle in the background. And we're going to do this by just creating a background node. We can do this by just clicking on the previous background node that we just created and hit shift and spacebar and then type in background and then hit enter. Then it will instantly get connected through a merge node to your main node tree. And what we're going to do then is going on this little taskbar, hitting on this little rectangle mask, and then drag it in, or just click on it, and then it will instantly get connected. And what I would recommend you now to just look at this from exactly the point where this is. So just click on merge, hit 1, and then we can actually see what's going on with our background and the rectangle. And then you can adjust it to the size that you want, so you can just drag those lines around, or go or click on a rectangle, go in the inspector, and then change the width and the height values. So maybe something like this. And then you can adjust the corner radius to make the corners very nice and round. And that's basically what I did here. So I'm just going to delete this. Alright, so the next step notice next step is usually just creating this little outline. So I'm just going to skip a couple steps forward. So basically what I did here, I'm just going to deconnect those stuff, was just creating another background node which gets connected to the merge node, and then in the image plane 3D. Then we have this rectangle node which I just copy pasted. So this is a mask, and you can just copy paste it and use it here, and then uncheck the solid, because if you have, oh my god, if you have the solid connected, then everything in this area will be in the color. But just deselect it and add a little bit of border width to get like those tiny white edges around your subject. And then next thing you gotta do is creating a glow. So what I would really recommend you is downloading Xglow plugin. It's a very nice plugin for a much better glow than the soft glow, but you can for sure as well go with the soft glow. This is like no problem at all. Alright, so next thing we gotta do is making the ellipse node for the 5. So maybe I can connect both so that we know what's going on. And this is actually very, very simple. It's the exact same as what we did with this corner radius kind of thing. So what I did was just clicking on this merge node, hit shift spacebar, type in background and hit add. Then this background got created. Then I went up to the taskbar, hit this little icon, which is the mask, and then connected it to the background. Then I hit on the ellipse node, because right now, like from the start, it looks like this, so fully white. Uncheck solid, and then adjust the border width to something that looks good. So in this case, it's a little bit thicker since the text is thicker as well. And then we have our little circle. And in order to animate this, we can go to the start when we want to animate our clip. So in this case it was frame 12, but it can be completely different for you, obviously. And then you can just head into the inspector and to the length, set it to 0, set your second keyframe anywhere you want, and then set it to 100. And then what I would really recommend to you is going to the spline. Then you can take your ellipse, we just create your keyframes, drag it into it, and then you have fully control over the keyframes and you can make really nice curves. What beginners are usually struggling with is creating really smooth curves and curves that are looking smooth, and they create like, they think, oh my god, this is already like way too much. But just trust me, do like huge curves, take those handles and drag them up to look much better. Alright, so the next thing I did was just creating this little text. It's actually as simple as just creating this other stuff. Just click on this merge node, type in shift spacebar, type in text, and then double click on the text plus, not in text 3D, and then this text node will get created. Then we can go in our inspector to the text field, type in 5, and then take a font. Iman Ghazi is using Montserrat, and then yeah, you can just check any font size you want. In this case, bold was looking good, so I've just selected bold. And then as you can see in the beginning, there's this little animation of it like spinning from the left to the right, and you can do this by just clicking on transform, then hitting the angle button, click on this icon. No, sorry. You can just click on here, click on the angle, click on the little diamond to set a keyframe. Then you can go a couple frames forward, and then you can click on this icon again, then you can go back, and then you can just set an angle that you want. In this case it's 98 degrees, but it can be whatever you want. And then you can just match this animation with the circle by just taking this transform node, drag it into the spline, and make a similar spline so that the fastest, so that when the little circle is moving the fastest, that the 5 is moving the fastest as well. Alright, very nice. Next thing we are going to do is creating this main text. So this one, and this is as well very easy. Just click on this merge node on the previous merge node that you've just created, hit shift and spacebar, then type in text, then click on text plus will be added to your timeline with the merge node. Then you can click on your text, go into the text, type in whatever text you want. What you can do then, because you can't just select something here or here and then change text from single characters or words. So what you have to do is make a right click, and then you can click here on here on character level styling. Then you have to head to modifiers, and now here you are able to if you've just created a new character level styling, you're able to just now mark the text or word that you want to change the font with, and then there will be a pop-up window where you can change the font. So very easy, you can't miss it really. And then you have to animate it, of course, as well. So just go to a point where you think your animation should start. Then you go to the text inspector, go down to right on, set it to 0 at the start, go a couple frames forward, then set it to 1 so that the whole text is getting written out and it gets this like type on animation. And to smoothen this out, what I like to do is just adding a Gaussian blur and then keyframing this as well. So just hit on the transform node, hit shift and spacebar, type in Gaussian blur, then the Gaussian blur will get added to your text node, and then you can just crank the strength up at the beginning, go to the end of the animation, make the strength to 0, and then you will have this like smooth blending in kind of effect. Alright, very nice. So the next thing we're going to do is creating this little tilting animation, because maybe you can see this better in 3D. in the beginning this is like tilted backwards and then going like frontwards. So what we're going to do is we are going to click on our image plane 3D right now, because all of our 2D information is on this 3D image plane. Then we are going to head to transform 3D, and then we can just click on rotation, go at the start from our animation, hit the keyframe on the x-axis and go to like -50, -60, -70, and then go to the end of your animation and select yeah, 0. I don't know why I hit 0.6, but then just hit 0 and then your animation will get created. Now I would go in the spline again, so just hit the spline tool on the top, go to the image plane 3D, drag it into here, click on this little icon to make it big. Oh no, deselect the opacity first, which we are going to keyframe in a couple of seconds as well. And then you can make your animation smooth and clean and just drag it out a lot. Alright, the next thing we are gotta do is change the opacity, so because nothing is here in the beginning and it's like slowly blending in. In order to do that, we just have to hit or go to the point where we want our animation to start. Then we go into the material option, go to opacity, set it up to 0, go a couple frames forward, and then we can hit again this icon symbol, drag the opacity up to 1, and then it will smoothly fade in like this. The next thing, alright, perfect. I hope it's like easy to follow to this point, but the next thing I would do right now is creating this camera movement from the beginning and the end, which is actually very easy, and then we just gotta do those little lines, which are also very easy, and then we are already done, and you know the basics on how to actually create cool Iman Ghazi type animations in After Effects. Alright, so what I would do right now, or what I would do now is going to go to the camera 3D, then hit shift and spacebar and then type in transform 3D, hit enter, and then this transform 3D will get added to your timeline. We usually don't want to make our animation instantly on the camera. We can do this as well, but if we want to make another animation start before our camera 3D animation is already finished, we can't do that, so we're just using transform 3D nodes to do this. Alright, so just click on the camera 3D, hit shift spacebar, type in transform 3D, then your transform 3D will get created. Go to the start of the camera, or where you want your camera movement to start, which is here. If you want to go forwards and backwards, it's the Z-axis that you have got a keyframe, so just go on the inspector, go to Z-axis, hit this keyframe icon, go a couple frames forward, so maybe like this, hit another keyframe icon, and then add like a stage where you want it to be, so maybe something like this. Then you got your backwards animation. I would really recommend you to really use a couple of frames so that you are able to make your animation like really smooth. So next thing we're going to do is to do our splines as well. So just click on transform 3D 1, drag it in here, and click on this little icon, and then this is my curve. You can just copy it or use your own one. Yeah, so just drag those handles out a lot. It's really a recommendation to make those animations smooth. Alright, next thing we're going to do is creating this second animation, or the second camera movement, when it's panning in again. And as you can see now, now you are able to see why I actually created those 3D nodes, because this transform 3D node, or no, this animation is starting, because this animation is actually starting before the other animation is finished, to make like a very smooth camera movement. Alright, so just go to the point where you want to start your next camera animation. Just go into transform 3D, go inspector, go to controls, hit keyframe the Z-axis, go like 40 keyframes forward, hit another keyframe on the Z-axis, then you can just go a little bit closer again, and then you gotta take your transform 3D 2, drag it into your timeline or into the spline inspector. Then you gotta click on this little icon, gets big, and then you got full control. Now I would really start the animation very slow and then finish it off very slow as well to give it this very clean look. All right, next thing we are going to do is doing those little lines, and I actually cheated a little bit with here, but yeah, it's very simple with this technique. So what I did was just creating another image plane 3D, and then I placed like you can see here, then I placed the line behind this little icon rectangle box so that it's not that you can see it from behind. And what I did then was creating this background again to set up my little node tree, and just go here, take the alpha, set it down to 0. Then I pressed Shift Spacebar, typed in text plus, then I hit it add. And what I did then was just creating a lot of those brackets. I don't know if it's called brackets, but then you just gotta do a lot of those. And then you gotta go to the, I have to check that really quick. Yep, to layout. Then you can click on the type, go to path, or go, actually for you it's I think point or frame, but you have to change it to path. And when you change it to path, you're able to actually draw in here like you can do it with the polygon, so it's actually then the exact same thing. And then you can draw where you want your little dotted line to start and where you want it to end. And then you can go to transform to adjust the spacing of your line to make it like look good. And yes, the next thing you're gonna do then is just going back to the text and going where you want your animation to begin. So here, I don't know why it's created so many keyframes, but just then hit the right on symbol or icon, or yeah, just go here, hit a keyframe, go a couple frames forward, mark your end position, drag this out so that this line is fully extended, and then go to the spline node, take your text, drag it into your inspector, hit on this little icon to make it big, and then you can make it smooth as well. And then you're just doing the exact same thing with the second line. Yeah, and actually this is exactly, if this is just getting pre-rendered, alright? So yeah, this is how you can create exactly this type of animation inside of DaVinci Resolve like Iman Ghazi. Yeah, I hope you guys liked it. I hope I could give you some input. I know if Chris, if you're still here, you just can ask questions or I don't know. And yeah, I'm happy to see you guys in the next tutorial. See you soon.
Sick, man.
Perfekt.
Danke dir. Ich glaube jetzt mittlerweile, wir waren zwischendurch 5 Leute, aber
Ich hab's gar nicht gesehen.
ja, ich glaube, es ist ganz geil, weil das Ding ist, lass uns mal das Recording stoppen. Thank you guys for watching, whoever's here.
Yes.
Mach mal kurz.
Ja. Oh.